Force, and the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force is with me. So be it, Jedi.
Welcome. It is Thursday yet again. It is time to talk Star Wars at the Cantina Happy Hour. I'm David. I'm your host. We're here to walk you through this lovely hour. Also with me today is my co-host, Debbie. How are you, Debbie?
Doing good.
Are your days all messed up too? I'm like, went through.
I don't know what day it is. Work has been screwed up.
For those of you that don't know, or if you're watching overseas, Tuesday was July the 4th, America's birthday, Independence Day over here, and everybody had the day off. So now my week is I went to work Monday, I got Tuesday off, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday I had to work. So it's like, I mean, just I woke up
days off, so I'm totally messed up.
I went to work on Wednesday, and I'm just like, it's Monday, and higgledy-piggledy. That's all it is. Higgledy-piggledy. Also with us tonight's Cam from Cam and Focus. How are you, Cam?
Doing good, thank you. How was your 4th? Did you do anything fun?
We went over to my wife's grandparents, and we ordered pizza, and we swam in the swimming pool for hours, and I didn't get sunburned.
Oh, how nice.
I know, right? It's awesome. So, but other than that, no, I mean, nothing. We didn't even really watch fireworks because, Sam goes to bed, and so it's like we got to get home and put him to bed.
Yep.
Plus, I got to get up for work in the morning.
Of course.
Although I have threatened, and I may still do this, tonight I may go see, after the show tonight, I may go see Dial of Destiny, which I have not seen yet because I'm a horrible, horrible person. But if I can go to like a 10 o'clock show and be done at like 12:30 or something, and then, but you got to work tomorrow. I'm like, I might just tough it. I might just tough it out. It's worth it, right, Debbie?
I didn't mind it. I thought it was good.
Of course you didn't mind it. You've got a
2 hours and 20 minutes of Harrison Ford.
I know, right? I mean, he's right there. He's right there. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Oh, Jesus. It'd be 1 o'clock before I even got out of there.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh,
my bladder was crying
aching.
By the time I left the theater.
Maybe I'll take Samuel then tomorrow evening instead. I've got 2 tickets, and Luke's at camp, so I can't take him. Anyway, enough about Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones. Although Indiana Jones is Lucasfilm, it is Harrison Ford. We'll give it some leeway. We are talking about Mando tonight, though. We are talking season 1, episode 3, The Sin, which honestly, this episode for me, I really, really liked. I think this was probably my favorite episode of the entire first season, except for that one, like in the last episode, that one scene in the last episode where you had the 2 biker scouts. And this is spoilers, in case you haven't seen season 1 of Mandalorian, where the 2 biker scouts are fighting over, I want to look at him. No, you can't look at him. And then he reaches in the bag and it bites him, and he he punches it. Oh, I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway.
Lucasfilm condoning child abuse.
I know, right? So
canceled.
Yeah, well, hey, it's not just that either. I mean, Master Skywalker, there are too many. What are we going to do? That's like taking child abuse to a whole new level. So, anyway, but this one was a lot of fun. We see Mando, and it starts off and we get the the child, as he's known at this point, or the cargo, whatever he is at this point. But we see him, and he's playing with the little the little gear shifter ball or whatever that is on Mando's ship. He's just being cute because we've got to add something to him to make him even more cute than he already is, so that we can sell more toys. So he's just being cute and sweet, and of course Mando's putting him back, and no, leave it alone. That's not for you. Blah 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 blah. He delivers them to the Imperials, and right away with the Imperials, you can tell he's kind of having second thoughts about this, because the troopers grab the pram and they start jerking it down the hallway. Come on, and he's like, hey, be careful with that, because I think Mando's looking at it as, yeah, he's a bounty, but he's still a kid, and you can't treat kids like that. So I don't know. My thoughts. You start seeing him do his thing, but then it's almost like they bring out the big thing of the Beskar, and he's like, ooh, money. But still, he tries to weasel out of him. What are you doing with him? What are you gonna do with him? And of course, the client, Werner Herzog, who was just brilliant in this. I don't know. He gave this cool little soliloquy and said,
I'm convinced that Werner Herzog talks like that in his daily life.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Absolutely convinced.
It wouldn't surprise. In fact, you know what? So let's see. It was 2 years ago. 2 years ago or last year? I think it was 2 years ago when Luke and I went to Fan Expo. One of the panels that we attended was Carl Weathers. We got to go see Carl Weathers, and that was really cool. And I asked him about my favorite Carl Weathers movie, Sasquatch Gang, which, if you haven't seen Sasquatch Gang, try and find it and go watch it because it's hilarious. But anyway, all beside the point of that. One of the things that he was talking about was there was a point where they were filming to where they had the little the Baby Yoda puppet, and Filoni and Favreau were there, and they were talking about, well, should we do it as CGI instead of this little puppet, because the puppet's cute but it may not work, and blah 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 blah. And this was what Carl Weathers said, is that Werner Herzog stepped out and said, if you do not take care of that puppet and make the puppet the thing, like, and I can't do his voice, but if you don't make the puppet the part of it, you are making the biggest mistake you will ever make. It needs to be practical. And he said that all in his awesome voice, and it was great. Loved it. It was awesome. Especially seeing something like that. I love practical effects versus CGI. That was one of the reasons I really loved the first Matrix movie, because most of that was practical wires and green screens and stuff like that. But then you get into the second one, it's a lot of CGI, and you could tell.
Yeah, you get Gumby Neo fighting off all those Smiths.
You could really, really tell when it jumped from CGI to real to back to CGI, because it was just like, oh, this is not a good thing. So yes, I like the practical effects, me personally. So anyway, he goes and gets his armor built, which was awesome, because we had a cool little we had his PTSD stepped in, I guess. Is that a good
Flashback?
Yeah, he had his flashback, which was
very similar to Grogu's in season 3.
And it was really good too, because and it was similar to well, you could tell it was from, I want to say, episode 2. It was in the Clone Wars. It was in the Clone Wars timeline. You had the super battle droid, and watching it again tonight, I realized that there was a a scene with the right at the very first. It was one of the not a vulture droid, but it was one of the droid bombers that was in episode 3 on the Wookiee planet, and it was there and it was flying through the sky. I was like, oh hey, that's kind of a cool little. I like that. That's nice. That's really cool. And it just gave me feel, mainly because I watched episode 2 the other day, and I was like, oh, this gives me the feels. Now I want to watch the Clone Wars. List of things. Indiana Jones, 65, and I still got to watch Secret Invasion. So I've got quite the hefty list. Anyway, any thoughts as to up to this point? Is there anything specific up to him having his flashback that really just kind of stood out to you?
About the flashback itself?
Well, flashback, anything that I've discussed. Y'all have been very quiet tonight.
Well, I mean,
both of you.
No.
It was just a little look into his past, because we really don't know too much about him. I mean, here we are 3 seasons in, and
we still don't know a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only, if I remember correctly, that's the only kind of flashback or anything that we've gotten about Din. So I'm kind of surprised that, of course, maybe that's all we really need to know, is that, you know, the Empire came to whatever planet they were on, and, you know, his parents hit him.
Wasn't it like one of the moons of Mandalore? Because I thought that
Conquered Dawn or something.
I'm sorry.
No, was it Conquered Dawn?
Maybe. All I remember was that when they were flying into Mandalore in season 3, he goes, "That's where I'm from. That's where I grew up at."
Mm.
So if it's not one of the moons, maybe it's in the system.
Yeah.
So that's all we know, and frankly, that's probably really all we need to know. I mean, he was a child, and parents hit him, parents got killed, and
he gets found by the Mandalorians.
Yeah, so
he's a foundling.
Something I like about this flashback, though, is it gives us a different perspective on the Clone Wars. Because if you're someone who doesn't really watch the animated shows, then really all you have to go on are, you know, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Attack of the Clones shows you when they start. Revenge of the Sith shows you when they end, and you don't see how that conflict affects the galaxy at large. And so to watch this this flashback and see, you know, like battle droids firing on civilians and stuff like that, I mean, it gives more meat to the idea of the Clone Wars. Now, if you're someone who's watched the series, then obviously you kind of know what you're in for. But to someone who hasn't watched the, you know, Clone Wars, you see that and you think to yourself, oh wow, people died.
Well, and on that same note too, because one thing you did not see in this flashback was any clones. There were no clones fighting. It was all Mandalorians. Yeah. So that just kind of went to show that yes, the Clone Wars was raging, but it wasn't necessarily all the time just the clones. And there were several episodes within several arcs of episodes within. I mean, the Saw Gerrera arc, where we're introduced to Saw Gerrera for the first time in the Clone Wars. Where they were there training them how to fight the battle droids. It wasn't necessarily okay, we're going to send a battalion down and take out these guys. We're just going to show you how to do it so you can do it, and we don't have to. And that's kind of what was, in my opinion, that's kind of what was going on here, was that the battle droids are attacking, and it's like, okay, we got to go, we got to fight now because we don't have any, you know, the clones are busy doing other things, so protect our own. So you also had in this sequence, and I missed it, and I was thinking about it. You had the first of many showdowns between Din Djarin and Paz Vizsla when they were discussing the Beskar, and Paz thinks it's tainted or something like that because of the
Yeah, it was Imperial.
yeah. So, and then of course they duke it out. But what was so funny was they start fighting each other, and nobody tried to stop them. I mean, even the armor, who's kind of like the leader and the voice and the wise person, just was kind of like sitting back, going, "Okay, let's see who wins." And it was like, you guys gonna stop him? Y'all are few in number, and you're just gonna let them duke it out. But I mean, that's this is the way.
I mean, I almost got the impression that she was just kind of looking at them like the same way a very tired mother would watch her two children fighting, just like, just whatever, get it out of your systems.
My mom did that to me and my brother once. We were going at it, and we were like in our 20s, so we're both big of us, and we were going at it, and she made us go outside into the front yard and finish up. She's just like, just go out in the front yard, that way you don't tear the house up. We got out in the front yard, and she pulled the water hose and hosed us both down. Hilarious. But, you know, that's brothers do that. It wasn't we were angry at each other. It was just a show of strength. Who was the toughest? So anyway, and Mom was the toughest because she had the water hose. Mom wins.
It's like Ash in Army of Darkness. Good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
This is my boomstick.
And she just sprays you.
Be smart. Shop smart.
You got that.
So anyway,
I just watched that a few weeks ago. God, what a crappy movie, but man, it's so much fun.
It really is. Really is. So anyway, we got the fight between them. He gets his armor, and this is the armor. This is like seeing this armor because you'd seen it in like the previews and here's what's coming. Here's the show we're doing. It's the Mandalorian, and he didn't have it in the first 2 episodes, and now he's got all this shiny, silvery, Beskar armor, and he looks cool and he walks into the bar and everybody stops and turns around and looks at him very like, oh, who's the guy that just walked in? Yes, he must know a few things.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
That's right.
I'm gonna go back to the armor for just a second because I don't know if I just totally missed this the first time I watched it back when it premiered, that the armor had suggested using the Mudhorn as a signet. And he says, well, it wasn't an honor kill.
Honorable kill.
Yeah, it wasn't an honorable kill. And she was like, why? And he's like, he says something like, well, my enemy.
Now I was helped by my enemy. Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't remember that. I didn't know he thought of him, Baby Yoda, as the enemy. And I was like,
well,
wow,
now they
threw me.
they touch on this a little bit in the second season when they're talking about the Jedi and the Mandalorians having this kind of feud between the two of them, an unspoken, we're not really at war with each other, but we just don't really like each other kind of thing. Yes, and you know that plays into their lore with like Mando the Great and everything like that. But he never knew, because he asks the question of what are Jedi and why are we mad at them, and then it gets explained to him. So he doesn't. I think he sees him more as an enemy of. And he probably used the wrong word. He wasn't an enemy. He was a target. He was my baggage. He was the person I was going to pick up.
My bounty.
So, my bounty. It was my bounty. It wasn't like
initially. I didn't think he meant enemy in like in adversarial sense. But I mean, I don't know that there was a better word for him to use there. You know, I was saved by my bounty. You know,
sure.
That's
It just threw me off. I just thought that was an odd choice of words. And I really honestly did not remember that from the first time I watched it 2 or 3 years ago.
And maybe he thought enemy too because he was unable to defeat the Mudhorn, but this little 18-inch tall
punk
green thing was able to. So, who's to say? I mean, but let's see. So I'm glad you kind of went back to the armor because she asked him what he, she was telling him, oh, here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's all the armor I'm going to make. And she says she makes him the whistling birds.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, because in season 2, you had the lady with the Beskar spear. And I think it was mentioned that Beskar should not be used to make weapons. Beskar is only used for armor and for protection. Yes. And a lot of people were, I remember when that was said, that a lot of people, oh, well, the whistling birds are all, well, he's got a weapon made out of Beskar and it's the whistling birds. And as you watch this, you hear her say, here's the whistling birds. They are great protection against multiple enemies. And you see it happen too when he puts the child down and he puts the gun down when he's fighting the stormtroopers, and it just, and he has protected himself. So there, you people that argue and complain about it, suck it. It was explained in season 1
from a certain point of view.
Mm-hmm.
From a certain point of view. That's okay, though. So, yes, there was the armor. You had the whistling birds, which he uses. I think he uses it like once a season. I don't think that's.
I think I've only seen him use it one other time.
He uses it in the 2nd season, maybe not in the 3rd season then.
I don't recall him using it in the 3rd season, but I don't know. I think in the 2nd season he used it against the Gamorreans.
I think you're right, and that may have been the 1st episode.
Yeah.
So anyway, he wants a bounty. He wants to get off planet. He feels bad about what he's done, I think. So he wants to leave. He goes to the he gets his bounty. He goes to his ship. He starts turning stuff on, and then it's just like if you were sitting there and you can tell it bugs him. Especially he reaches for the little shifter thing, and he's like, oh, "All right, turn everything off. We're gonna go get him."
Damn it! Damn kid.
I swear to God.
Well, because everybody knows that any story that involves a father figure having to protect a special child is going to involve him giving that special child to somebody and then having second thoughts and going back and rescuing them.
It's like Willow.
Yeah. And what we saw, I mean, it's
saying.
Every time. Every
time. You're absolutely right. I'm not arguing with you. But yes, it happened in Willow. They gave him to Mad Mardigan, and did we do the right thing? We need to go back and fix this. Anyway, go watch Willow. Don't watch the TV show. That was horrible. Go watch the movie though. The movie was great.
Was that bad?
Oh, it was awful.
It was all right.
It was awful. And I had to sit through and endure it because I just kept hoping it would get better, and it never did. It's like, oh, come on, what are you doing? Anyway, that's a whole nother show. It's a whole nother show. We ought to do a show about just Lucasfilm properties in general. There's been quite a few good movies. I mean, obviously, you've got Star Wars, and then Indiana Jones, Willow, Red Tails was on there. There was another one, an animated one that they did. Strange Magic. which is
I forgot about that one.
it's on Disney Plus, and it's really good. The soundtrack is amazing. I love it.
Well, was Howard the Duck Lucasfilms too, or was that just George Lucas?
I think so.
It was Lucas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for those of you that think Howard the Duck was a travesty of a movie, go look it up. If Howard the Duck did not exist, we would not have Disney Pixar. So because Howard the Duck exists is why we have Disney Pixar. Go look it up. The whole timeline's there. It's great. Anyway. So now we get Mando breaking into the Imperial compound there, and he jerks the little eyeball thing that's in Jabba's palace. He pulls it out of the wall. Just all kinds of.
And he also listens in on the conversation between the client and Dr. Pershing. And, he's saying, I think the client is saying something like, just extract the material and be done with it. And Dr. Pershing is like, I'm supposed to deliver him alive to him.
I think that you could say that that's the Emperor,
or could it be Thrawn?
Off Gideon.
I think it's Gideon too.
Oh yeah,
because at the end he says, at the end of this season anyway, he'll say you've stolen something from me and it's very precious to me and blah 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 blah.
That's right. I'm always trying to make that Thrawn connection. But
maybe it is.
We gotta wait till August.
Thrawn is Star Wars' answer to Mephisto.
not only
so
August.
We know he's coming for sure.
Yes,
Mephisto.
This one we know, but not only August, like the end of August. We still literally, it's almost like 2 months. Almost 2 months. Come on, guys, you're killing this. Killing this. Anyway, he almost kills Dr. Pershing. Dr. Pershing tells him basically he's still alive because of me. He's just a child. Yeah, actually, he jumped in front of him and he said, because I guess he thought he was going to kill the kid, because he jumps in front of him and says, "No, don't kill him. He's just a kid."
That's probably what saved him.
That was probably what saved Pershing, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was. But he left him there alive. He didn't kill him. We got the stormtroopers looking for him, and these Mandalorians are really cool and everything, and they've got really cool looking armor, but they're really kind of dumb when it comes to camouflage, because he was in a dark room in an urban space with the biggest, brightest, shiniest armor that he could come up with. Paint the armor, for crying out loud. I was like, how is he ducking them? They should be able to see him a mile away.
One day, some smart Mandalorian's going to make a Beskar ghillie suit.
Yeah. Why not?
Just a really shiny patch of grass right here.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my biggest complaint about this episode, was he's wearing big, bright, shiny armor and hiding in shadows, and it's like, you're kind of defeating the purpose at this point.
Oh well, it's made up for by the fact that this is probably one of the best Stormtrooper beatdown scenes we've ever gotten. Well, I take that back. I like the Boba Fett scene in season 2 just slightly better. There's just something so much fun about watching stormtroopers get the crap knocked out of them.
What about the Jen Erso one in Rogue One? When cheer it. I forgot about that one.
all by himself.
all by himself. Is your foot okay?
Yeah, well, that's again. He automatically makes everything he touches gold.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue with you on that one. Yes, you're absolutely right.
I mean, like John Wick 4. I went into that movie thinking, okay, I'm gonna love this movie because I love the other three, and then Donnie Yen ended up being my favorite part of the whole movie.
I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
Not yet.
It's really good. It's really, really good.
I haven't seen 2, 3, or 4.
Really?
I saw the first one.
I've seen them all except for 4. So
I've heard they're really good. It's on my list of things. Game of Thrones is on there too. I haven't watched Game of Thrones.
That list will never get shorter.
Oh no. That's like one of those. That's like a credit card bill. You know,
have you
interest.
watched The Last of Us yet?
No, I haven't watched The Last of Us yet.
Jesus, Lord have mercy.
I'm a
hermit. I don't go anywhere. All I do is watch TV. So
it's getting hard. It's harder and harder for me to watch stuff because Samuel right now is of the age to where I want to be around Daddy all the time, and to watch things like Game of Thrones, The Last of Us. It's
when he goes to bed.
Well, yeah. I mean, I could do that, except I'm usually worn out at that point. But plus it's. Daddy, I want to be with you. Let's go play video games. All right, let's go play video games. Which, by the way, for those of you that are interested, we've been playing Lego Star Wars Complete Skywalker Saga. We are 82% complete of the whole game. Of course, what we're going to do when we hit 100%, I really don't know. I'm going to have to find another somewhat open world game that he can get a kick out of. Anyway. All right, so he saves the kid from the Empire. He starts heading to his ship, and he is stopped by the Bounty Hunter Guild. They try to talk him out of it. He says no. A firefight ensues. And of course, just when you think the chips are down and he's about to lose,
I
think the collective gasps from this from the Star Wars fandom for this scene was, and it was probably bigger when I went to go see Episode 2 in the theaters, like the midnight show. 2002, I was there, and when Dooku says it's obvious this match can't be determined by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with our lightsaber, and Yoda opens up his cloak and pulls his hand, and he doesn't even pull it. He's got his hand out here, and that lightsaber flips to his hand, and he flips it on. Everybody in the theater was like, "Oh!" And it was just like, "Oh, it's about to happen. Yoda's about to go nuts, and we're gonna have Yoda lightsaber fighting. It's gonna be awesome." And I think this was kind of the same reaction that everybody got. Oh, it's the Mandalorians, and it's happening in real time, and they've got all kinds of cool weapons and stuff. So I think some of the ozone layer may have been depleted with that gasp. So
they changed the air pressure of the world.
And it was great. It was an awesome scene. I mean, geez, it was just like, oh, nice.
So,
yeah.
I mean, something about Paz Vizsla with that machine gun. I mean, it's I don't know what it is. It's perfect.
No, it's awesome. It's completely awesome. And not all of them were flying. A lot of them were, but not all of them were flying, which was, I mean, it makes sense. It's absolutely, it perfectly makes sense because not all Mandalorians are. He gets asked about it. Have you been through your training yet? So, not all.
He even said about, when he's seen the Mandos flying, he was like, "Get me one of those."
I gotta get me one of those.
Oh, that was when he was leaving in his ship.
When he was leaving in his ship, yeah.
And a Mando flew by and saluted him.
It was in case you didn't catch it, that was a nod to the Rocketeer. And Ethan, I know sometimes you watch the show, Ethan. If you're watching, there was a Rocketeer nod where because Rocketeer did the same thing in the movie, except when he saluted him, he hit his button and it turned off his jetpack and he fell. But still, it was a nod to the Rocketeer. It looked exact. I mean, it was like, oh, that's exactly what he did. All right, cool. So, you had Paz Vizsla, and Mando had his rifle out again. He was disintegrating people. It was great. It was beautiful. He even says, "That's some impressive weapon you got there, Mando." So, and I love the way that they discuss the terms in all of this too, because it never benefited from either side. It never benefited the other side, to where he said, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take the kid and I'm going to go to my ship and y'all are going to let me leave. It's like, okay, where's the give and take on that one? And then he's like, okay, here's what's going to happen. You're going to put the child in the cart and send it over to us, and then we will let you leave. And it was like, what?
They had to manufacture some tension somehow.
I guess. And honestly,
they're not
too,
very good negotiators.
And watching this again, because he gets to his ship and he's there waiting for him. And I honestly thought, I mean, I love the way his character has developed and moved around just through 3 seasons. I mean, he's like this bounty hunter guild leader, and then he tries to kill Mando. Mando shoots him. I mean, and you're thinking, okay, he's going to be a bad guy. We got to watch out for him in the future. And then it turns out, well, he's not really that bad. He was a bad guy he was a bad guy. He was a bad guy, but he changed his mind. He had a change of heart. Now he's the good guy.
Yeah, and he becomes the High Magistrate.
Yes, exactly. The High Magistrate of Navarro, or the Crime Lord, if you will. Sorry, Boba. Sorry.
Al Capone. It's like Al Capone surviving an assassination attempt and going on to become the president of the United States.
Exactly. So anyway, he shoots him. He takes off, and then him and the kid are off for a new adventure, and he gives him the little knob thing to play with.
Woohoo! Character growth.
Yes. now he's being the sensitive father. So, but anyway, like I said, this is probably one of my favorite episodes, and mainly for that final scene, the shootout scene, I thought was very cool. It was very well done, especially, he get the one part they're he jumps in the cart and he tells the droid to drive. I mean, it was very Western like. He's walking down the street and they accost him, and then shootout happens, and they're just using things around them to fight with, to block stuff with. It's great. It's awesome. Very Western, which is what a lot of people view this as a Western in space. And I totally agree with that. Totally agree. Anyway, okay, overall thoughts on this episode.
Very good episode.
It is. It definitely is.
Again, a shorter episode too.
It is one of the shorter episodes, but with the story that the episode was telling, it didn't really have to be much longer than that. He drops off the kid. He gets his armor made. He rescues the kid. He escapes. I mean, if they tried to stretch that out, it would have felt really just cumbersome as far as pacing.
And there was a lot of tension and pew pew, and yeah, I don't know how you could ask for anything more. Baby Yoda being cute.
Dave Gramillion, this is a Michael Bay episode, because there was an awful lot of pew pew in this. So especially toward the end when he stormed the base and then had the showdown in the street with the guild.
I mean, he even melted down a stormtrooper practically.
He did. Oh, yeah.
So great. I'd forgotten about that, and you could actually hear the stormtrooper kind of gurgle.
It's real funny because Samuel, when Luke was 2 years old, I could sit and hold figures up to him and he would go, "Oh, that's Luke. Oh, that's Leia. Oh, that's Darth Vader. Oh, that's," and he could name them all. He knew them all. I've got a video on my YouTube page about it. I'll send it to you guys one of these days. But Samuel I was told by my wife when Samuel was born that I'm not allowed to ruin Samuel like I ruined Luke. So I've kind of, as far as the Star Wars stuff goes, I've kept my distance. Well, he started noticing things now, especially since he's playing the video game and, he sees the Mando and he recognizes, oh, that's the guy from the video game. That's the Mandalorian. Oh, that's Boba Fett. He's in the video game. Okay. Yeah. And so it's all kind of timed together. Well, when we were watching this and he saw that scene and he torched that trooper, his eyes are like this. He can shoot fire out of his arm. Well, yes, he can. Whoa. I mean, he was just all kinds of impressed. He can shoot fire out of his arm. Awesome. So, honey, if you're watching, I'm not ruining him. He's doing it himself.
It's kind of hard not to when you've got Legos, Star Wars Legos all over, and I mean, how can you not influence?
Just saying, it's there. Okay, so anything else? Any other fun thing about this episode we love so much?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. This episode didn't have a whole lot going on besides, all the
pew pew and
so.
Yeah. So next week is the Sanctuary,
where we get Cara Dune.
That's my favorite episode of season 1.
Actually, that one may be my favorite episode of season 1. I just like season 1. Season 1.
You just said this one was.
Actually, there's one episode in season 1 that's not my. Well, it wasn't my favorite when season 1 was out, and it probably still is kind of low for me. But it introduces a character that comes along later that I really like. So, and we'll get to that one. It's the Prison Break episode. So,
Burr.
Yes. Bill Burr, love him. So, anyway, all right. Shameless plugs. You got anything, Debbie?
Next Monday, hold on. My screen just went black.
Yeah, mine's done it like twice now.
I need to look at my sleep saver thing. Anyways,
right.
So next Monday, we will be talking Secret Invasion episode 3, which someone hasn't watched yet, but it's really good.
I'll get to it.
It's really good. There's some reveals that we kind of knew anyways, but there's at least one shocker that happened. I was like, whoa. But anyway, so yeah, that we got Geek Gauntlet on Saturdays at 10 o'clock Eastern. Our show MCU Mondays on Monday Eastern. And I believe, Cam, do you have a new?
Cam has a new video about 65.
Yeah.
Yep.
That I have not watched yet because I haven't watched the movie yet.
Well, I mean, so I do my my old numbered list format for that video, and it's not until I reach number 5 where I start talking some spoilers. So if you do want to watch the video, then just stop after 4.
Stop after 4.
And
number 5. Oh, stop!
I do give 2 warnings beforehand, so. But
I'll go rent it and watch it this weekend. I'll be fine. I don't think I have any plans this weekend. So I will watch 65. I will watch Indiana Jones, and I will watch Secret Invasion. I will have all of that done by Monday at least. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I got 3 days.
Debbie, you heard him. Monday. If he's not done with all that on Monday, we're gonna be
well,
Heads
now-
roll.
and Indy's a different cup of tea because Indy is Luke will be back from camp. We could go tomorrow night. I just have to pay for Sam a ticket. That might not be so bad. Anyway, whatever. I'll go see Indiana Jones. I don't have anything as far as shameless plugs go. Debbie's already said everything. Go check out our Facebook page. Go check out the Instagram page. Go check out the TikTok page. Hit the smash the like and subscribe button because that's what everybody else says to do is smash it. I need to find a different word for it.
Spank it.
Spank it. Spank that. Oh, come on, Debbie.
Oh, that's like gross. Come on.
Spank that like and subscribe button so you know when we're on. All the spanking time. But yeah, check out all our socials. We got lots of podcasts. We got Captain's Logs and Lightsabers podcast. We've got Geek Gauntlet. We got this one. We've got we got a lot of stuff. Go check it out. We're there. Just look for Geek News Now. Don't look for GNN because that will take you to another news network, a different news network. We are
Geek News Now Official is what you want to look
Geek
for.
News Now Official. Yes.
That's the new YouTube channel.
That's for the YouTube. That's for the new YouTube channel. If you're watching this on the old YouTube channel that's not Geek News Now Official, then go over to Geek News Now Official and like and subscribe there because this channel that we're on right now on the old one, I'm going to stop broadcasting on this one here soon. But this is just for transition purposes. So we'll be on the new one, Geek News Now Official. So other than that, you guys all have a great week. We will see you all next week. May the force be with you.